Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We're so happy that we can be with you all here today. I see 187 people have joined us. We're really hoping that the session is going to be useful to everyone. I know that you are all on this session because you're all hoping to apply for the presidential ECD stimulus grant that's been made available by the Department of Social Development. And we really hope by the end of this session, we'll be able to help you with your application and answer any questions you have, particularly related to the CSD system and also related to the GovChat application. So my name is Sumaya Hendricks, and I'm from the Nelson Mandela Foundation. I head up the work on early childhood development. I'm here with three other colleagues with the foundation, Samantha, Lee, and Chi, who's going to be assisting me here today. We also have, we very grateful for the Treasury team for assisting us by making Teboho Rapanyana available. She is going to be helping all of you, helping you walk you through to the CSD system. She is a CSD trainer, so she'll be able to answer your questions. Before I hand over to her, for her to take you through the CSD system, I'm just going to give you a little bit of an introduction. So I'm sure you all know that next week, Friday, is the closing date for the ECD Stimulus Award. For the stimulus fund. And so it's really important that all your applications are in before then. Now, one important thing I want to say before I hand over to my colleague Samantha, who's going to be just doing some meeting rules, is that it's really important that as you are all here today, that you not only listen for yourself, but you also listen with the aim of trying to help other people. So I hope you all have that at the back of your mind. So Samantha, I'm going to hand over to you to just do some meeting announcements.
Good afternoon to our colleagues from Treasury and ECD operators throughout the country. The purpose of today's information session is to capacitate as many ECD service operators as possible to apply for the ECD Employment Stimulus Relief Fund, as this initiative can significantly help the sector and its workforce during the pandemic. Like my colleague Sumaya said, the closing date for the applications is the 19th of February. So there are only 7 days left. So we urge all our attendees to listen and ask questions, and to listen today with the aim of not only helping yourselves, but helping others to apply. Today's meeting rules are as follows. So the session will be recorded and is currently live streamed on the Nelson Mandela Foundation YouTube channel. You are welcome to rewatch the session on our channel or share the link to other ECD operators in your network. Kindly switch off your video to maintain good connectivity, please. And once the Q&A session begins, we will call on you and ask you to unmute yourself, and you may ask your question. Thank you. That is all.
Thank you so much, Samantha. I see some people are having a technical difficulty on their side, not hearing. So if I can just request my team, if we can maybe in the chat, I think people, what they need to do is go to the bottom left of the where they have the little mute, where it says mute or unmute. And then around speaker, they just need to make sure that it either says same as system or whatever speakers they have. So maybe if Lee or Chi would be able to just maybe give people direction in the chat. So before I hand over to Teboho, I just wanted to be clear. I know everyone, I'm hoping people already have information regarding the stimulus, so I'm not going to go through that now. But during the question and answer, if you have any questions, I can answer them. So I'm going to hand over to Teboho, but I just want to remind people that, so at the moment, for this application process, you only need a CSD number if you are currently unfunded. What does that mean? That means if you are currently not receiving funding from the Department of Social Development, that means you're not on their payment system. That's when you have to go to CSD and get a supplier number. If you are currently funded and receiving funding from the Department of Social Development, you go straight to the GovChat application. So remember, you do not need to have the CSD number for your application for GovChat. The CSD question for the GovChat application won't be a compulsory question if you are funded. So I just please make sure that you you remember that, so that you can also for yourself, but also to advise others. So let me, without further ado, let me hand over to Tebogo. Tebogo, over to you, and thank you so much for being with us all here today.
It's all a pleasure, Sumaya. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for having me, colleagues from the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're just going to try and be brief. I'm just going to be explaining to all those that do not have a CSD, or maybe that's not in order, how the CSD works and how to register there. As Sumaya has already explained, I am the training facilitator for the CSD, and I am also one of the contact center team leaders that side. Okay, all right. So I hope everybody can see my screen so far.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Awesome. So before we start, can I take any questions so far? If somebody has a CSD, maybe they're struggling with a few questions, can I just start by taking whatever questions that you may be having, if any, and then if we don't have questions, we may proceed. So how it's going to work is, if you have a question for me as I'm busy guiding you on what needs to be done, please note it down, because I will be asking if you want to ask any questions as time goes by within the training session. So for now, let's start with opening questions. What is it that you'd like, or what is it that you'd like to find out before proceeding with your registration, before completing your registration, or before even starting with your registration? So anybody that has a question, please let me know.
Tebogo, so Samantha will just assist you with hands and then unmuting people. So over to you, Sam, to just assist Tebogo.
Okay, we're going to start with Kevin. Kevin, I'm going to unmute you. Just kindly also unmute yourself on your side.
Hi, Kevin.
Kevin, may you kindly unmute yourself? Okay, I think Kevin might be having a problem. We can go to Gertrude. Gertrude, may you kindly unmute yourself?
Hello?
Go ahead, Gertrude.
Okay, now I've just joined here, and we are not registered yet. So I think this is the right place for me to know how to get this CSD number. Just waiting for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, great. Let's go for Mary. Mary Shahi.
I see Mary, her audio is not connected. So
Okay.
I think you'll have to move on.
Okay, that's fine. Mercy Tots Preschool. Kindly unmute yourself, Mercy, please.
So colleagues, if your hand is maybe raised by mistake, you can lower your hand. We're only taking questions now whose hands are raised. So if you're, so I see Kevin's now managed to unmute himself. Kevin, did you want to ask?
No.
Yes.
I think I've done a mistake here.
Okay. Sorry,
Samantha.
Sam.
We can move on to Nobuntu Gulwa. Kindly unmute yourself, Nobuntu. Oh, she has put her hand down. That's fine. We can move on to someone else. Salma.
Sam.
Yes, Salma.
Samantha.
Yes, I did. Hello.
Samantha, for the sake of time as well, I'm going to request that we at least accommodate the questions up until 3 o'clock, then we can start.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, great. Salma, go ahead.
Oh, yes, I did apply for the CSD grant. There was no way where I need to put my account number.
Okay, noted.
Okay, thank you for that, Salma. We'll go to the next person, Stella Maluleke. Okay, Stella's not connected with her audio. Let's go to John. John, kindly unmute yourself, please.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm just trying to get clarity on one issue that was raised yesterday. The lady who was going through this explanation yesterday, she spoke about the commodity. Is it? Yeah, commodity. When I was trying to do the application yesterday, when going through that field of commodity, when you press it, there's all fields. And she explained that we fall under education. So I pressed education, but she said you must edit and then fill in the percentages. She said you should be 100%. But in that, under that commodity, it's only few fields that have that option of edit, especially the first two. And all the rest did not have those edit options so that you can fill in the 100%. Shares. So I was just battling with that. I didn't know how to handle that. If you all can assist, that would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question, John.
Noted.
I'll go to Doris Sipondo. Doris, kindly unmute yourself, please. Okay, Doris is, I think she's having a challenge. We'll go to Eddie. Eddie, kindly unmute yourself, please.
Madam,
Yes, Eddie, go ahead.
Madam, we've got problem in registering and getting the CSD number. What we have done is that we use someone's ID number to move to commodities, as well as the ID numbers and the names instead of the project name. Is it proper for us to do so that we can able to continue? Thanks, Madam.
Noted, Eddie.
Yeah, okay.
I think we're good for one last question, Sam. Then we're good to go.
Okay, great. I'll be calling upon Natasha Woodley. Natasha, kindly unmute yourself, please.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sorry, just a bit of a technical question. I've been trying to register for the CSD number, but irrelevant of the browser and the website that I'm using, it constantly freezes. So I wanted to know if there's a problem on the side of CSD or is there an alternative? Because for days we've been unable to register because the browser freezes. Thanks.
Awesome.
Thank you, Natasha. Deborah, would you like another question or is this okay?
Let's take one more.
Okay. Charlene Madura, kindly unmute yourself, please.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Charlene.
Hi, thank you for this meeting. It's been very informative from yesterday. I just wanted to find out my actual CIPC address has changed from my place of operation. So when I went to the bank to open a bank account, I used my personal address. So when filling out the forms, which address should I use? My personal address or the one that's on the CIPC? Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, before we start, colleagues, I think the colleagues from the Nelson Mandela Foundation can start with answering Charlene's question. I think that's for you guys. And then I'll move on to answering the rest.
Sorry, Tebogo, maybe you can assist with the last question. I see also a question like that in the chat. I think that what they were asking was, you know, when they are doing the CSD application and they need to put an address, I think what they're saying is that the address that was either on their related to their CPO, sorry, related, you know, to that the bank has and where they now operate are different. And will that on this, like when they're doing bank verification, will the mismatch of address be a problem?
Not even. So on the CSD, when we do bank verification, we just send your bank information, which now consists of the account holder name, the account number itself, together with the identification number that that account is linked to. So we don't send addresses to your bank. So meaning, on the CSD, what we normally advise you do is to register your trading address, like basically where your business sits or where the NPO sits, right? But that does not affect bank verification, because when we talk to your bank, we just ask them to confirm we just ask them to confirm the account holder name. We ask them to confirm the bank account itself, and we also ask them to just confirm if the names are spelled correctly on the CSD. So we do not actually ask your bank to verify your address. I don't know if I've answered the question correctly.
Yes, I think that's what they were asking. So for everyone's benefit, if I can just maybe repeat to Boho. So remember what the Department of Social Development is trying to do with the CSD is trying to make sure that these bank accounts do exist and it is in fact linked to your NPO or your CPIC. So what Tebogo is saying is that your bank verification will not fail on the basis of what address you put on, but she is advising that you put the business wherever you operate, your ECD center operates as the address, but that won't affect the bank verification.
Yep, correct. All right. So with most of the questions that were actually asked, we should be able to answer them as we go by. But also with I'd like to find out from Natasha the browser with which she is using, because I see she says the system always freeze. So I want to find out how often and which browser is she currently on. Sam, can we have Natasha back just for a minute?
Okay. Natasha, kindly unmute yourself, please. Natasha Moodley.
Hi, yes, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm using Chrome to try and Google Chrome to try and do it. And then when that fails, we move to our cell phones and Explorer. And once we fill in our details, as soon as they ask us for questions, you know, to verify, the browser completely freezes. So.
Okay.
And it's always at that specific point. It's never anywhere else. It's only once we start to choose our questions, security questions, the browser freezes. And it's kind of been frustrating.
Are you using the same email address? All those
Yes.
attempts that you are making, is it with the same address?
Exactly the
Okay,
same.
I'm going to request that you perhaps try using a different email address, and then we'll take
Okay.
it from there.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Eddie mentioned the issue of ID. So with the CSD registration again, colleagues, it has different parts. So the first part is wherein you register your information as a user. And then the second part is wherein you register the organization's information once you are now logged in. So I want some clarity with regards to Eddie's question when he says they are using somebody's ID. So I want to find out at which point are we still where in the system requires us to enter the email address, the ID, the security answers and all, or have we moved on to where we are adding the organization itself? Eddie?
Eddie, please unmute yourself, please. Eddie, kindly unmute yourself, please. I think Eddie might be having a problem unmuting.
Madam.
Okay, great. Yes, Eddie.
Madam. Yes, madam.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes, madam. We try to do everything, but unfortunately, there was a place where we used my IDs in order to get to CSD, and we entered. We go to commodity, we go to education, and we get that 100. Yes. So I wanted to get clarity on. It is not bad if I use my ID to go to that one, because the rest I did the rest. The name of the organization is there. Kanana Daycare Center, for an example, has been mentioned there.
Okay. Eddie, I hope we should be able to answer your question maybe within the next 15 minutes of this training session. I'm still not clear about a few things, but it's still unanswered. Please do raise your hand, get the next question and answer session, okay?
No problem, madam.
Awesome. And then John mentioned the issue of commodities. However, I think at some point he was mixing industry classification and commodities. So I think also that we should be able to answer during the course of the training session. So what you need to note, colleagues, is that we do have industry classification and commodity on the CSD. So industry classification, basically that's wherein you are classifying the type of industry you are operating within. Say for this instance, maybe you are within the educational space. Now, how you'd classify your industry is just by writing education, and then you will put it under 100%. You'll stretch it to 100% as an industry you're operating within. Then we have commodities. Commodity talks to the actual service that you are rendering within that space that you are in. So in commodities, that's wherein you might have to put in early childhood or anything that you are actually doing, anything that you are contributing within that particular space. So that would be your commodity. So with John's question, I think we will need to actually do a bit of troubleshooting so that we're able to differentiate the two and we're able to see how they differ and how we actually going to tackle them on the CSD and how we are going to populate those two on the CSD. Right. Awesome. Selma mentioned that she is registered on the CSD. However, she was not able to enter the bank information. I'm not quite certain how this was done, but we should be able to also answer this during the course of the training session. All right. We may start with the session, colleagues. So initially when we started with the CSD, Central Supplier Database, okay, somebody needs to be on mute. Colleagues, can we all mute our mics so that we're able to hear each other. And okay, awesome, thank you. All right. So the CSD, initially, like I was mentioning, when we started with the whole idea of the central supplier database, the aim was for each and every government department to be able to support you with any CSD related question. However, now we are aware that it's not all the departments that do support with the central supplier database. So if you do struggle with a registration or you have a query related to the central supplier database, feel free to send us an email at csd@treasury.gov.za. So we have about 40 individuals at the office that should be able to actually assist you with troubleshooting on whatever query or request that you may have. All right. Alternatively, you may call our call center on 012-406-5999. This is, however, a temporary line. Our lines are undergoing maintenance. Or you can visit our walk-in center at 240 Madiba Street. It's in Pretoria, and our services are free of charge. COVID regulations do apply, so you need to have your mask on and you need to practice social distancing. Okay, so supplier self-registration process. On the slide that I have here, colleagues, it's just portraying integration points so that you're actually aware what the CSD is interlinked to. So as the National Treasury CSD, we do not edit or amend your information. We only provide you with a database with which you should be able to give us your information and also tell us what other parties, such as SARS and your bank, are saying about you, all right? Then now what we do is we compress that information into one document, which should be a CSD report for reporting to government departments, right? So at this point, we are accessible on www.csd.gov.za. All right, so when you go onto our website, we will ask you whether you want to log in or if you want to register. All right, so at the registration point, I heard somebody talking about their CIPC registration, assuming maybe you are an NPC. If you are registered as an NPC, then that means that we'll get your information from CIPC because we are interlinked with them, right? So that's wherein we will get the directorship information of your company and whether the director is youth or not. And then we are also interlinked with the Home Affairs at this point. All right. So moving on, another point with which we are linked with, we are also linked with the Home Affairs I've mentioned, and we are also linked with your bank. So how your bank assists us, I think there's a lot of challenge that a lot of people are going to be having is the bank verification. So we follow regulation 7 and 8 of the FIC regulation that says your bank needs to recognize you as per how your source documents are written. So say, for example, you early childhood development NPC with social development. We expect your bank to also have that on their records. You can't be somebody different at the bank. So that's what would normally contribute to bank verification failing or passing, but we'll go into detail with regards to that. We also have a directors and members tab. Directors and members tab is a tab that actually tells us who owns or who runs this NPC, right? Awesome. So just going to move to the next page. CSD is accessible on the browsers that I've actually put up here. We are available on Chrome version 56 plus, Firefox version 47 plus, Internet Explorer version 11 plus, Opera version 43 plus, Safari version 8 plus, right? We also accessible on, so if you're a woman, I'd normally refer you to the sunflower to say, oh, check that sunflower icon to see if you're on the correct or recommended browser. So if you're a guy, I'll normally say, refer to the beggar or pip stripes, okay? So we should all be able to access the central supplier database. You need to try your Chrome, you need to try your Firefox, you need to try your Opera, and then if it's still giving you a problem, then we'll need to have a chat after this session. All right, so as I've mentioned, colleagues, when you go on to www.csd.gov.za, this is our web page, right? So those that have already attempted to register should be able to see the website or the web page. We ask you whether you want to register or whether you want to log in, right? So this is where we all have to start. You start with giving us your email address, your first name and your last name, your cell phone numbers, identification. We're going to ask you if you are a South African or a foreign supplier. Then you will tell us there, and then we'll require your ID number, your password, create a new password. We will require you to give us your security answers. Make sure that you give simplest answers so that should you be logged out, you are able to easily unlock yourself and you're able to reset your password, all right? Okay, so on each and every supplier profile, we'll give you a limit of 5, right? Say maybe you want to add the NPO 3 times, or maybe the NPO has branches, is that big enough that it has branches? We'll give you a limit of 5 on each and every profile that you create, right? And we'll still give you a limit of 5 to delete. Should you wake up tomorrow and feel, I don't really want to be on the central supplier database, you are allowed to do so. However, you are allowed to delete yourself 5 times, right? Okay, so after you have actually given us your information here, entered the capture icon here and clicked on register, we are going to send you an email to your mailbox, right? So we will say, Dear John, please note that you are registered to be a user on the Central Supply Database. Click here to activate your profile. So at this point, you only have a CSD profile. You're not registered as a supplier as yet. All right, you've just created a profile. All right, so make sure that you check your spam folders, because this usually do go to your spam messages. Sometimes it will go straight to your mailbox. Do check your mailbox. And if you still don't have anything, you can click on resend the email link, and then the link will be resent to your email address. Right. This is the email that you will receive. You'll receive an email from csd.info@csd.gov.za. Right. So that's where we'll actually send the email from. After following that link that we have sent, we will give you this page to say, okay, now we can confirm that you are the user we were actually registering a few minutes ago. You need to now request OTP. What this OTP does, make sure that on the first page, when we're requesting for your information, you give us correct information, because the cell phone number that you input at the first step is the one that we will be using going forward to communicate with you. So here we want you to prove that you are indeed you. You have to click on request OTP for the OTP to come through. Our OTPs are not like that of the bank, wherein it automatically pops up. You need to click on the blue tab to request the OTP, right? When you request the OTP, it will come through to your cell phone. Please don't put in a landline. Because you'll not be able to retrieve your OTP there, right? So we will send you the OTP to your cell phone. You'll put it on here and then click on submit. All right, now you've successfully activated your profile. We will inform you that you've successfully activated your profile, and will require you to click here to log in. Right. So after you've logged in, we do have our terms of use, terms and conditions of use. Please make sure that you accept. If you do not click on I accept, unfortunately, we will not be able to allow you to use our database. All right. After you have clicked on I accept, then we put you through to fraud alert, and we notify you that there's a lot of scam happening, more especially with fraudulent RFQs. You need to read through this page and click on I acknowledge after reading everything. Once you click on I acknowledge, it's then that will put you through to a different page. So what happens is some individuals decide they want to override the terms and conditions and the fraud alert. You'll not be able to work on the database if you do that. We'll just kick you out the whole time. You'll go and yes, you'll see that page and you'll try to actually click on something else. We will not allow you to proceed. All right. So once you've accepted the terms and conditions and acknowledged fraud alert, we'll welcome you then. We'll say, oh, welcome Natasha or welcome John. Then you should be able to work on your database. All right. So because now we regard you as a supplier for government, you'll have to click on supply details. Our supply details tab, like I've mentioned, So it's actually guided by a few business rules. It's guided by regulation. Hence, I mentioned at the beginning of our training session to say, if you are an NPO registered with social development, you have to make sure that upon your registration, when you are logged in, you select that you are actually an NPO and you are registered with social development, and give us your NPO registration number exactly how it appears on your registration documents. All right. So this information will be linked to what we send to your bank. We do allow you to register as many branches as possible on the CSD. The difference has to be the address, because if you're just giving us the same address all over again, we're going to prompt you and say, hey, this is a duplication. So at least the address has to be different so that we see that, okay, it looks like it's a branch after all. Okay. As I've mentioned, we are interlinked with a few entities or third parties. One of them is Master Data, or PMG, which is the Paymaster General. So Paymaster General is also partially the regulator for banks. That means that whatever business rules that we have under the bank tab is what we were guided by the Paymaster General, right? So when you capture your information on the CSD by close of business, we take all that information that you've captured and we send it to the Paymaster General and say, Paymaster General, as the middleman between us and the banks, please talk to the banks. This is what we have for the day. Find out if our users have given us correct information, right? So those that have already played around the system could tell you that, yes, you do get registered instantly. However, bank verification would take about less than 4 working days or about 2 days, right? Because we are still inquiring with the Paymaster General, who will then go and present the information that you've presented to the CSD, to your bank, all right? So I'm just going to show you how all this works. Hopefully I will actually move a bit faster as time goes by. All right, so the people that we register on the CSD, we do register nonprofit organizations. That means when you log on to your CSD, the option that you have to choose if you're an NPO is nonprofit organization from the social development, then you can start registering, okay? We do register our CIPC companies. Here I will stand to be corrected. I think with you, it will have to be either, let me see, maybe a P2I limited, primary companies, or an NPC. I'm not quite sure. Like I've mentioned, I stand to be corrected what you'll have to be registered as, but most likely a P2I limited or an NPC. All right. And then here we also do register an incorporated body of persons. I think I was informed by Natasha earlier on that you'll have to register as voluntary associations. I think so. All right.
Or NPO.
So,
yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah, so people will either be NPOs, so non-profit organization, or there'll be unincorporated body of persons, or there'll be a CPIC.
So remember, as unincorporated body of persons, there are also subtypes, subcategories wherein so are you saying anything? They can either be in a partnership, statutory body, joint ventures, consortiums, or section companies, or they have to choose one?
Generally, people are in this sector in voluntary associations.
Okay, awesome. So there you have it. Unincorporated body of persons, then it will have to be voluntary associations, right? All right, so we are still on the identification tab, wherein we will still require you to tell us how much you make annually if you are making any profit, of course. We have options of 0 to 10 million. We have options of 10 million to 50 million or more than 50 million. All right, so you'll have to tell us what your annual turnover is and your financial year start date. All right. So now, once you have populated the first information on the identification tab, automatically the CSD will actually open the other tabs so that you're able to populate them as well. So the next tab next to your identification tab will be industry classification, right? So industry classification, as I was trying to explain earlier on, is wherein you explain or you classify for us the industry with which you are dominant within, right? So industry classification can be 100. Say maybe you are.
Teboho?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Do you think you could go? I think people are making notes. Do you think you could go a little bit slower if possible?
Okay, awesome.
Thank you so much.
Just let me know if I'm fast again, okay?
Will do.
All right. So I was trying to explain industry classification to say under industry classification, you need to actually tell us what you specialize in, your core industry, exactly what you're focusing on within your business. Say, for example, with the individuals that are here today, say maybe we are trading within the education space. That's where you have to outline for us that, okay, I am within the education space, all right? So you'll just click on this arrow. Sorry, moved on to the next step. Yeah, so you just click on this arrow, right, which will open up, and then you will have to drag this to 100. If you are only offering education, then you drag it to 100. But if you are also maybe offering, say, maybe food and beverages and accommodation, you're able to actually you're able to actually drill down the 100 to portions of it. Like maybe say, okay, I'm 30% into accommodation. I am again another 35% into food and beverages. And the remaining percentage, I'm in education. However, for purposes of this fund, I would advise that you just click on 100% education. All right. So this is just industry classification. You are just classifying exactly what you do on a day-to-day basis. We're not yet doing commodity or the service, the actual service that you are rendering within the space, right? Once you have pushed it to 100, then you can click on save and then click on save at the bottom. Please note that if you decide to take maybe say 2 options or more options in industry classification, it can't be 50-50. There needs to be a dominant industry. You can't say, I'm doing food and beverages 50% and I'm doing education 50%. There has to be one of the industries that you are in, which is dominant than the other. So it has to be maybe education 60% and then food and beverages 40%. I hope we are clear so far. All right. Okay, that was industry classification for now. It's very important that you also capture your contacts. Contact information is very important. So when you go into your contacts tab, say maybe you are registered with the CIPC or you've given us your information at the beginning, automatically we will have your name under the contacts tab. We will also have your email address on the contacts tab. You will have to populate all the other information. Are you in administration? Are you a bid office contact? Are you in finance? Are you a funding partner? Are you in sales? You still need to give us this information, and you need to give us your cell phone number. For instance, say maybe somebody needs to reach you. The only way we'll get your information is on the CSD. So make sure that you also populate the correct information on this tab. Right. Make sure also one thing that I think I might forget to mention to you. One of the if you decide to go with many contact people, maybe say 2 or 3, one of them needs to be a bid office contact. Or if it's just one, that particular one individual needs to be a bid office contact. It's more like a general contact in simple terms, right? So if you do not select bid office contact, you will not be able to complete your registration. You'll not be able to successfully register. So one of your contacts need to be bid office contact because it's more like a general contact. Then we know, should we need to communicate with this NPO? Should we need to communicate with this entity? This is the person to get in contact with. All right. Okay, so now we move on to address. It's very important that each and every company or entity or NPO on the CSD has a registered address. Right. So the address that we'd most likely prefer here is your business address. All right. So you have to tell us if it's a physical or a postal address, but it's also very, very important that you have a physical address. We will not be able to allow you to register if you do not tell us what your physical address is. So here, address type, when you click on it, it will ask you, is this a physical or a postal address? So you'll just select physical. Then address line 1, you have to populate your address line 1. Address line 2, you will need to populate your second line of address. And then the country will be South Africa. The province, say maybe you are in KZN, you will select on this drop down. We have all the provinces here. You will tell us you are in KwaZulu-Natal. Then the district, we have all the districts in KwaZulu-Natal populated here. You will just select whichever district you are within. The municipalities, all the municipalities are auto-populated. You select the municipality you are within. The city also, the suburb, the ward, and the postal code. All right. So now you'll tell us if this is your preferred address or not. Then you will click on save. All right. Now, after your address, you will need to move on to the bank tab. All right. I think this one, we need to make sure that we have the correct information on it, because like I've mentioned, everything else we are able to instantly validate. Say, for example, you have a tax reference number that you'd like to add on your CSD registration. We are interlinked with SARS and we give you real-time data. Immediately when you give us your tax reference number, we're able to find out from SARS whether you comply or you are not compliant. However, with the bank, like I've mentioned, every day by close of business, we gather files or we gather information that you've inputted on our database, and we send it to the Paymaster General. We don't liaise directly with your bank. There's a middleman, which is the Paymaster General. And we say, hey, Paymaster General, this is what we've gathered for the day. Please find out from all the commercial banks if it's going to match. All right. So this, because I've heard some, I think it's Sumaya mentioning earlier on that the deadline is by Friday. We need to make sure that if you don't understand anything on here, you do let us know and we do assist you instantly. All right.
Tuboho,
So
sorry, do you
with
mind?
the bank,
Tuboho?
yes.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
It's
With
okay.
this page, could you maybe just tell people the importance of the legal name and how it has to correspond with the bank? Sorry, I know you said it, but just because I don't want, because of the bank failures that people have been experiencing.
No, it's not a problem. I'll do that. Okay. Let me know if I'm quick. Let me know if it's understandable. So I think after this page, I will be taking a few questions for those that have already gone onto the system, those that already have queries or questions that they want to find out. Yeah. All right. So bank, because you are an NPC or an NPO. So let's say maybe your NPO name is Letugutula Daycare. Sorry, I'm trying to get what I'm saying. Letugutula Daycare. NPO. All right. So let's say maybe your NPO name is Letugutula Daycare Center, right? That's your account holder name. Okay, that's your name, your general NPO name, right? And then your identification number here. So it will appear on here under legal name. So here it will be Letugutula Daycare Center, right? As you have actually captured it on the identification screen, which is the first tab that you were able to populate when you logged onto the CSD, all right? So the identification number here has to be the NPO number. Please make sure that you capture this NPO number exactly as how it's captured on your on your NPO's registration certificate. They may be social development registered you as say 246-478-NPO. Please make sure that on the identification screen, when we ask you for your NPO number, that's the number that you give us with its dashes. So don't put forward slashes, don't omit the dashes, just put it as it is. All right. Then we're going to ask you, is identification number linked to the account? This is very important for you to find out from your bank if they have linked your account to this registration number that you have received from the social development. For example, if you say yes, what we are going to do as the CSD, when we gather the information, we're going to say, okay, this is Letugutula Daycare Center. This is the registration number of 246-47-NPO. The user is saying this. When we go to the bank, definitely we will find this registration number. All right. And then this is the account number. We are going to present those three to your bank. However, if your bank says no, yes, we've opened an account for you. However, it's not linked to the NPO registration number. Then you will have to select no here. All right. So no means, okay, CSD, this account belongs to the NPO. However, at the bank, it's not linked to our identification number. So what CSD does when we gather information, we say, okay, at the bank, definitely the name that we will find is Letu Butula and is Letu Butula. The account definitely belongs to them. This is the account number. However, we are not presenting the bank with the registration number. So it's very important. Also, how you can tell this is by looking at your bank confirmation letter. Please make sure that you get the latest bank confirmation letter so that you're able to identify. If your identification number is linked at the bank, by looking at your bank confirmation letter, you will see they have quoted your NPO registration number. All right. If it's not linked at the bank, just by looking at your bank confirmation letter, you will see there is no registration number on that letter. They're just saying we confirm that Letu Butula Daycare Center banks with us, and this is the account number. So far, I don't know, am I clear? Okay, so if we finish earlier, I'm going to try and get us to maybe do troubleshooting. Maybe we can just go to the live environment and then we see what I'm talking about. I'm going to try and push that we finish on time. All right, so still on the bank tab, account holder name, your bank confirmation letter will guide you as to what you need to capture. If on your bank confirmation letter, they are saying, we hereby confirm that Letu Butula Daycare Center, without the NPO, there's no letter NPO there, banks with us, then that's what you put in, Letu Butula Daycare Center, right? If they have an NPO there at the end to say, this is Letu Butula Daycare Center NPO, make sure that under account holder name, you also put it exactly as it reflects on your bank letter, because on this tab, that's wherein we are communicating with your bank, all right? So account type, you will tell us if this is, what you call it, is this a check account or not? Then you'll select whatever option that populates. Account number, you will give us the account number as per what is written on your bank confirmation letter. And then the bank, you'll have to select which bank you are with here. All the options will auto-populate, whether you are with Itala Bank, whether you are with FNB, whether you are with Capitec, all the banks, all the South African banks, we have them on the CSD. The branch number is not important for some banks. They have allowed us to use their universal branch code, so you don't have to struggle with the branch number. Then, as I've mentioned, colleagues, on the CSD, our OTPs do not auto-populate or do not auto come to our phones. You need to click on request OTP for the OTP to be sent to your phone. Once it's sent to your phone, you will enter it on here and then click on save. All right. So this screen here just explains what I was saying, to say we do not have the luxury of manually going directly to your bank. We do work in conjunction with the Paymaster General. They are the one that facilitate the bank verification process. All right. And then again, you are more than allowed to have multiple bank accounts on your CSD. If you feel I want to add on 2 of them, you can add all those 2 bank accounts. However, like I've mentioned, you have to make sure that your banks recognize you as the same name. You can't have FNB saying that you are Letu Butula only, and now have Standard Bank say you are Letu Butula Daycare Center. Your names have to align across all the banks. All right. So to support the money laundering regulation 7 and 8 of the financial intelligence, to ensure alignment of the bank account holder name specified on the CSD or legal name. So basically, this explains what I was trying to explain, to say Money Laundering Act 7 and 8 requires that if I am Tebogo Rapanyane at FNB, then Standard Bank needs to recognize me as Tebogo Rapanyane, and then ABSA needs to recognize me as Tebogo Rapanyane. We can't have either one of them recognizing me as T alone. All of them need to recognize me as the same person. Same goes for entities, same goes for NPOs. All right, so I don't know if I've mentioned that we are able to have more than 1 bank account. I think I did mention that. So this one I'm going to jump a bit. All right, so the bank verification process, like I was mentioning earlier on, it takes about 4 working days. So that means if you have not registered on the database, immediately after our training session, you need to jump on it. You need to log on to the CSD and try and register so that you see if you will experience any problems. There's 4 working days. We are, however, working very hard to actually keep it short. We're trying to keep it to 2 days. However, due to technical issues, it still remains, we still say it takes 4 working days. There are those that will tell you, I have registered on the CSD today, and the following day, I received my bank verification status. All right. However, because I've mentioned it's still a bit of a challenge, we still say it takes 4 working days. You might be the lucky one. We might verify it in 1 day. We might go to the Paymaster General in the evening and say, this is the information. Please check it with your banks. And the banks respond instantly. Then the following day, you get your response. However, sometimes you find that the banks are taking their time to respond. That's where in now we'll have to fall back into the 4 working days. All right. So 4 working days, remember, Saturday, Sunday does not count. We validate information on a working day. Hence, I'm saying, yes.
If I could, sorry, I hope you don't mind me interrupting like this.
It's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay.
No, thank you. I just want to tell everyone, so yes, the bank verification takes a few days, but as long as you have your M number, the supplier number, you can go to your GovChat application. So, you don't have to wait for the bank verification to be done. And some people might even have a problem with their bank verification that doesn't change your supplier number. So as soon as you have your supplier number, go to your GovChat and complete your GovChat application. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that. So like you've heard, it means for now, all you have to just make sure happens is that you gather your MAAA number. However, it's also very important that you capture correct information because once your funding is approved, you might have problems with getting your payments. All right, it might be a bit delayed. I don't know how they're going to work that out, but yes. So with bank verification, back to it. Like I've mentioned, colleagues, we are actually interlinked with all the commercial banks in South Africa, all right, working together with, yes, I know we're from the National Treasury, but yes, PMG is also sitting within the National Treasury. Like I've mentioned, they actually help with guiding us on regulations on what needs to be done. They also advise the banks on what is required on their end, all right. So these are the verification responses that you might get on the CSD. Okay, so firstly is verification succeeded. Verification succeeded means that whatever that you've given, whatever that you've actually captured on the CSD is 100% correct and your bank agrees, therefore your bank has verified. You are done with your registration completely. Verification failed. We would actually tell you that your verification has failed and we will give you reasons why it has failed. Sometimes it would fail because you have given us an incorrect account number and when we got to your bank, they couldn't match it against anything. Right? Sometimes it would fail because the ID that you've captured is incorrect, right? So in this instance, hence I mentioned, it's very important that you capture your NPO number exactly as per how it's captured by social development, and also make sure that on your bank confirmation letter, it's captured exactly how social development has captured it, right? Sometimes your bank would fail because the initials that you have actually given us are incorrect. This is an instance wherein somebody is registered as an individual. And I remember Sumaya said, you can't be registered as an individual. So it means this does not apply to you. Then it can fail because the name that you've given is incorrect. Incorrect name does not mean the entire name is incorrect at times. Sometimes it means you have just omitted the NPO that is written on the bank confirmation letter for you, or you've just omitted the center, you've just written the first name without completing it on the CSD. Then your bank will reject and say, yeah, they wrote Letukutula. On our end, we have daycare center actually, so it's not correct, right? So it's very important that your information matches 100% what the bank has. Sometimes your bank would reject and say no rejection reason. Please contact bank to verify. This is in terms of smaller banks, such as your Investec, such as your Itala. They do not provide us with a reason. You will have to unfortunately go back to your bank so that they may assist you further. Sometimes it will read verification failed, contact CSD. That's where you call our call center and we are able to actually troubleshoot and assist you with whatever the problem may have been. Okay, Earlier on, I mentioned, colleagues, that we are trying to actually short circuit the time with which bank verifies on. We are trying to actually cut this time to 2 working days, and sometimes it does work. However, if we do get delays, it ends up being the 4 working days that we actually do tell our suppliers. All right, like I've mentioned, you'll register today, and then tomorrow you'll successfully get your bank verification status. All right. Like I've mentioned, your information on the bank tab has to be captured exactly as how your bank has captured it. All right. So when we're doing verification, these are the screens that we hit at your bank. So with ABSA, we'll normally hit your CIF screen. First National Bank, we will hit the Hogan system. Standard Bank, we will hit bank lookup screen, and NetBank is the banking platform screen. So it's very, very important for you to capture what is on your bank confirmation letter, because they'll normally write it in line with those screens that I have mentioned. All right, so one of those screens I've mentioned would look something like this. This looks like the NetBank screen. So basically, we would look at how they have captured your information, right? So what is your name and what are you registered as on their end? All right. I'm going to take a few questions if we still have questions before I proceed. Any questions so far, Samantha?
Okay, I'll call upon 3 people at a time. Just be ready with your questions, please. Oh, it seems as though everyone has put their hand down.
Yes, sorry, Sam, I lowered people's hands because it was from earlier. So, but yeah, I see people are raising their hands now. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. I'm gonna go to Octavian first, then Eddie, then John.
Okay.
Octavian, kindly unmute yourself, please. Octavian,
I'm having a little, sorry?
go ahead.
I'm having a little bit trouble struggling to register into the CSD.
What's the challenge?
It doesn't want to read my email address.
What error message does it say? Does it give an error message? What happens?
It does give an error message because I've been doing this thing like 3 times, and it doesn't want to. It says it's a unvalid email address.
Okay, can you just read out the email address you are using?
May 83 255 at gmail.com.
Okay, just make sure that at the end there, are you using a cell phone? Are you using a laptop?
I'm using a cell phone.
Make sure that you do not select the options that pop up, because when you select an option that pops up, somehow it leaves a space at the end of your email address. Just type it in up until the end.
Okay.
So make sure that you type it in when you use your phone a lot. Sometimes it gives you options to say, do you want to use this one? Don't select those options, rather type it in manually up until you finish.
Okay, thank you.
I need you to try that whilst we are still in training. I'm just going to check with you when we finish if you did manage to come right.
Okay,
all right.
thank you.
Bye.
Okay, thank you. John, kindly unmute yourself, please.
Okay, I think for me, those who attended yesterday's session, they will agree with me that I think it's Samantha or Samaya, I'm not too sure, who was giving yesterday's session, that she explained it so easily that it was really easy to go through the registration process, just like you are doing, I don't know, women table. And I think I need to congratulate you guys for that. But as I was saying, actually I changed, my question was under the industry clarification. I did change this in the chat, And I'm in front of my device now, but it's still giving that same thing, because when you go under, you only have accommodation and food services that has, and accommodation that have the edit option. But if you go under, there's only two that have the edit option. If you go under, sorry?
How many industry classifications do you have so far?
No, I fell under, there's lots. There's administrative and support activities, agriculture, forestry and fishing.
No,
arts,
I mean the one that, is it John?
Yes.
The one that you have already selected, have you selected any industry
education
thus far?
Education.
You've already chosen education.
Yes.
Is it safely saved there? Is it when you log on to your industry classification, are you able to see it?
I'm logging in. When I applied, when applying, I've logged in that industry clarification. Classification. What happens is I went under the industry classification and I chose education, which I fall under. So when I want, there is no edit option in the end. But if you double click that education, if you double click under education, it gives you like a sort of, I don't know, a bar or something. If you scroll that to 100%, it gives you percentages. If you scroll that to 100% and you want to save, it does not, because it does not have the edit option like accommodation has and food and beverage services activities have. So that's where the struggle is.
I need you to please remove that industry classification.
I must remove it?
Yes, please.
How do I do that?
So you're saying, what I was trying to find out is when you click on industry classification.
Yes, it gives me the search. There's a search bar and there is, sorry?
Firstly, go back to the identification screen, the previous screen.
Okay, I'm there.
And then go back to your industry classification.
Yes, I'm there. It tells me add and edit industry clarification, because it says this supplier does not have any industry classification specified.
Awesome. Please click on add or edit.
Yes, I've done that.
All right. So once you've clicked on add or edit, type in education at the top. There by the search box.
Search.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I've done that.
There's an arrow pointing to your right. Do you see that? A small arrow pointing to your right?
You mean under the search bar or there's no...
Under the search bar, once you've clicked on search, there's education. You see that education there? You've searched for education. Now education popped up underneath. Do you see that?
Yes, yes, I see that.
Yes. All right. So next to that education, on the left-hand side of education, there is an arrow pointing to your right. Do you see that small arrow?
Yes, I see that.
Please click on that arrow for me.
Oh, I see. There is a magic. Okay.
Then you'll click on edit and then you'll drag it to your right and then save. Don't forget to save at the bottom.
Yeah. But I think no one would have understood it without your explanation.
I do apologize.
Thank you.
Awesome. Are you sorted now?
Let me try to save. Yeah, it says education one. Okay, yeah, I think it's saved.
Okay, awesome. Then you should be able to, yeah?
Yes, yes. Secondly, I wanted to ask you, thank you for this one. I hope I won't struggle again. The second question I wanted to ask is, when you say the closing date is the 19th, and you say it takes about 5 days to confirm the banking details. For some of us, today is the 12th. You don't work on weekends, so I suppose that will only be on Monday the 15th. So by the time we sorry.
Yes, I think Sumaya quickly clarified that to say, in this instance, bank verification is not very important at this stage. So you can register and have an MAAA number. I think what they are mostly interested in is the MAAA number. Then, if you are still waiting for a bank verification or it's still failing, in the meantime, you can contact us so that we assist you so that you don't have issues when you have to receive the funds. So far,
so
when you've
I'm
registered, yeah.
So when I'm done with this, I will be able to receive the M number.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, and lastly, under the directors and members and owners, there's like a red arrow with an I, like an I information. Do I need to worry about that?
Yes. On directors and members, I think how you will find out what actually needs to be populated, just click on overview there and check against directors and members. It will tell you what it needs. Maybe it needs the director's email address. Maybe it needs the director's cell phone number. So just click on overview and check what's written. Yes.
I've done
check
that.
what's
I
written
have
against
supplier
directors.
identification. I've done.
Do you mind if I share screen with the relevant page, where like when people refer to it? Sorry, if you don't mind.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Is it registered as an NPO?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Let's share screen. Awesome.
So I just, sorry guys, so I just to reiterate, so when someone was asking the question now about this education. So when you do search education here, this comes up, and then you press edit over here, and then you can either move it. Yeah, sorry.
Not quite. Can we go back to the identification screen? So I think what John was saying is that it doesn't just, the edit doesn't just pop up.
Oh, sorry, let me go to a new one. Hold on, sorry.
Yes.
I'll just put this as an NPO number, test. Okay, one important note, everyone, it won't let you move on unless your financial year date is, if you put this in. And I know for most people, it's either the 1st of Feb, so you can just move these little arrows here, or it's the 1st of March for people. So must I press save now, Teboho?
Yes, please. All right. Now we can move on to industry classification. Also, can we just move on? Sorry, Sumaya. Please, let's just move back to identification. So what we were trying to explain earlier on, colleagues, the registration number or the NPO number has to be captured as per your source document here. Yes, there. So it needs to be exactly as per your NPO certificate, right? So yes, we can move on to industry classification.
Sorry, ma'am. On that space, especially when you did not put space between your the numbers, you know, the NPO number, you have dash and then the number and then the space, but you just put NPO after the number. Does that create a problem, or do I need to worry about that?
Okay, so it doesn't quite have a problem, but the challenge is, say maybe you are registered with SARS. SARS will most likely take what is on your NPO certificate. So if that dash is not on your, or that space is not on your NPO certificate, you'll not be able to get your tax compliance status immediately because it doesn't match up 100%. I don't know if you understand.
Okay, how do I change that in the system here? Do I have to edit again? Because I tried to change that by pressing edit. They ask me for OTP. I must send to press for OTP. I send. I sent. I received the OTP. I put the OTP, but I could still not edit. I mean, change that. How do I be able to rectify those? That
is it on the
saved.
identification screen?
On the banking, yeah, on the identification, yes, and the banking, because I did not put the dash, the space between the number and the NPO, you know. So I
okay.
wanted to rectify that. Yeah.
Do you still have, do you currently have a letter from your bank? Because also that letter is what's going to guide you. Does your bank have
I
those
do.
spaces or do they have dashes? So you need to compare what third parties such as your bank and SARS are saying. Are you registered for tax?
Yes, I am registered for tax.
Yeah, so it's just a comparison. We can't just draw it based on one entity. We can't just draw a conclusion that you have to remove it or create the space or add the dash based on one organization, which is either a SARS or your
On
bank.
the certificate itself, there is that space. It's only me when filling it, I did not put that space. So I wanted to rectify
So
that. That's
yes,
my question is about.
so you'll go back to the identification tab. You will be able to edit it there.
Because remember, can I just tell you something? So just say you are on some other tab. Just say you are on the bank tab. And if you realize you made a mistake, you can always just press the identification tab over here. You can go back.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
thank you so
Okay.
much. We're going to just move on with the demonstration and give other people a chance to ask questions. But okay, thank you. Teboho, can I check? I think some people's questions are going to be related to the tab. Do you want to quickly go through the tab? Sorry, I know you have it in the slides.
I think yes. I think before we actually move on to
But Samantha,
other questions. Before we move
sorry,
on to
Ma'am
other
Teboho.
questions. Yes, John.
You asked me to go over on the overview. Sorry, guys, because this is also important. Maybe it will also help others. On the overview tab, I have some in green color, some in orange, some in red. Do I have to worry about some in brown? So I don't know.
Okay. So on the overview tab, there at the top, we're not looking at underneath legend there and completed and successful. We're looking just above. So
Yes.
above, you need to have gray, you need to have green, and you need to have dashes. If you have something in orange,
Supply identification and supply and clarification is gray. Contact is green. Address is gray. Bank account is gray.
So
Checks
as a
is
rule,
red.
sorry, John, sorry, I have to take other questions. It's not fair. I'm trying to give everyone a chance. So can I just tell you the rule? Okay, so I just want to tell you the rule over here. As long as you don't have any red and you don't have any orange over here, you can move on. So basically, you'll know you have everything when you can press the submit button. If you can't press the submit button, can you see over here? That means you don't have everything in place. So just say over here, there's a whatever's missing here, you just press on it and it'll take you back to the tab where you can amend.
So I'll try that.
Okay,
Because
all right, thank
it's
you.
not giving me the submit option. Yes.
Before we move on, Samantha, Sumer, I wanted us to look into the industry classification tab because I think that's what we're going to have a problem with. Yes. Then on the industry classification tab, colleagues, you'll have to click on add or edit. Once you've clicked on add or edit, you will have to type in education. Then you search, right? So there you click on this drop down. It's very important that you click on it. Otherwise you'll not have edit or you'll not have reset. So it's very important that you click on it so that it tells you that, okay, fine, now you can edit your industry. All right, then we can just drag it to your right up until it says 100. Like we've mentioned, for the purpose of this, you can just rather take it and drag it just to the right-hand side, irrespective. Then you click on save. Then you'll also have to click on save at the bottom. Then that's how you save your industry classification. All right, let's take other questions so that we don't leave people behind.
Okay,
Samantha?
I will go to Kathy Rautenberg and Eddie, as well as Mapula. Kathy, kindly unmute yourself, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
now
Kathy.
we can, Kathy.
Hi, thank you very much for this opportunity. I've had a serious backlash from ECD upliftment. The amount of admin required for this project is hugely cumbersome. all due respect, for many of us who have not got a lot of formal registrations for NPOs and stuff like that. I happen to have for my avenue, but I'm talking on behalf of a number of people in the ECD upliftment sphere. Is it possible to move the deadline of the 19th out? Because I'm spending hours trying to explain what, where, and how, and I myself am not sure as to how the process can be completed successfully. Is
Thank
that
you so much.
deadline immovable or not?
Okay, so unfortunately, you're not speaking to the right people. So I am from the Nelson Mandela Foundation. I am not from the Department of Social Development. And unfortunately, Tebogo is from National Treasury. She's a CSD trainer. So unfortunately, if you do want to raise issues around the closing date, unfortunately, we're not the appropriate people. You would have to, I think, I'm not sure if we have any DSD colleagues, and we might have Larato on, I think, from the ECD Chief Directorate, but you would have to raise it with the ECD Chief Directorate at the Department of Social Development. So unfortunately, we're just trying to assist people with the process. We don't have control around, unfortunately, the closing date and any of the other application criteria or anything.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to move on to Eddie.
Madam?
Yes.
Yeah, my question was that under contact it's under my name, but under classification is under the projects company. Is it correct, madam?
Under classification, I'm not quite sure I follow.
Yeah, under classification is that of the project identification.
So the only place then on this registration we would expect to have your personal information would be under contacts and under directors and members information. Under identification should be the project's information. So throughout this registration, there should just be the project's information, the project's address under addresses, the project's bank information under bank. Again, colleagues, sorry, I managed to go quickly through some of the questions that you've actually sent through. Even if you don't have a bank account, you will still be able to proceed with a CSD registration. We have an option there. I don't know if it's Samantha or Sumaya that's navigating. If you go there under bank, can we just quickly go under bank?
Lerato, okay, so, okay, sorry, let me let you talk you through it first and then.
Yes, so like I was mentioning, under bank, you have an option to say you don't have a bank account. I'm sorry, I just scrolled through some questions and a lot of people are concerned about bank accounts.
Yes, unfortunately, Tebogo, for the purposes of the application for the ECD stimulus, people will have to have a bank account and they'll have to have a bank account in the name of the ECD service. There was, however, a question where people were asking if they can use a reserve account. Is that possible?
Okay, so remember you also mentioned there, I think that there's going to be a bit of contradiction. You mentioned earlier on that the banks do not have to be verified. So on the CSD, we do not verify reserved accounts because they're not linked to anybody's identification number at the bank.
Oh, I see. So people won't be able to use reserve accounts.
You will be able to register it, but it won't get verified. Like remember earlier on, you said the bank doesn't have to be verified for them to get funding. So that's where I'm going back to say, if verification is not what you are looking at, then it's okay. They can have it on.
Okay. So colleagues, Tebogo, do you mind if I steal 5 minutes from you? What I want to do. Oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry. You might also need to leave. Sorry, Tebogo, carry on. Take questions rather. Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, we need to thank COVID. I'm working from home, so we can go on as far as you guys are able to. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought maybe I think we should quickly go through the tabs because I think people are having particular problems with the tabs. You know, like where to navigate and where to press and.
Okay. I think we should take. Yes.
Sam,
okay,
can you assist in muting people? Thanks.
just to clarify, I think it was Eddie that last asked. Eddie's question was, the only in my personal information, will it be reflected only on the contacts tab? Yes, Eddie. If you register an NPO or any organization, we expect your information, your personal information, to reflect under contacts and under directors and members. Everything else should be that of the NPO or of the entity you are registering on this page. I hope I've answered your question. Yes, can we take 2 more questions? Then we can, as we proceed with navigation. I hear what you are saying, Sumaya, but let's take questions as we navigate. I think that might work. At least we are answering and we are continuing.
Okay, Mapula, may you kindly unmute?
Hello.
Hi, Mapula.
Hi, I want to ask because I've got an M number from Department of Health. Do I have to apply for another one?
What's your M number?
Sorry?
What's your M number?
Sorry, just a minute.
Okay.
Because they did ask for it for funding for Department of Health for nutrition.
So I think while you search for that M number, Mapula, because we are a bit behind the clock, let's take another person that when you have it, you're more than welcome to let us know that you have it.
Okay, I'll just go through the next 3 people I'll be calling on. So it will first be Refilwe, Charlene, and Bridget. So Refilwe, kindly unmute yourself, please.
Hello, how are you?
We well, thanks, Refilwe, and how are you?
I'm fine. I'm Refilwe from Department of Social Development in Karib District. And
Hi,
the problem that I've been having is to update a bank details whereby organization, the account was closed, and then they went to the bank to reopen another bank account, and then I have to put that existing or new account number into CSD, and I can't. And again, the second one is they did put the email address, but they forgot the password. And the number that was registered, they don't know the number because that person who was there at the center is no longer there. So I just want to know how do I update those details?
Okay, so firstly, you mentioned the issue of a bank account that has been opened for the NPO. When you're saying you can't edit, are you saying you're not able to even go onto the system, so you're not able to have it on the CSD, right?
I can go to the system, but then the old OPT number goes to
the old user.
It goes to that old number that they don't know the person and the email address.
Okay, Refilwe, I'm going to request, I don't know if there's anybody that will be able to note this down for me. I'm going to request that you write your question down and leave me your email address. I'll give you a guide on what needs to be done. Unfortunately, this is something that our office will have to deal with because now it includes security of the old user. So there has to be a process that your supplier needs to follow.
Okay, ma'am.
All right.
Okay.
Mapula.
Charlene, kindly unmute yourself, please.
Hello.
Yes. Is it Mapula?
Yes.
Did you find the M? Yeah.
It's MAAA. C3822346.
Can we start all over again? You said it's MAAA.
It's MAAA.
Yes.
038 2348. 2346, sorry.
Is it 2346?
Yes.
Awesome. Into Tugo.
Yes.
Let me see. You are actually successfully registered, Mapula. You don't need to re-register on the CSD.
Oh, okay. So I can just do the application.
You can just do the application, my dear.
Oh, okay. The bank is the one that you use for Department of Health. It's not for Into Tugo.
The FNB one.
Yes.
So you want to add another one?
I wanted to ask, what do I do in this situation?
I think Sumaya is your person with regards to banking details. I still don't quite understand. Yeah, the bank. Sumaya, please help.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, maybe you can. Okay, so what do they want to add? Let me ask this question. Is the bank account in the name of the ECD service?
Yes, it is, but it was the one that we opened only for nutrition because they didn't want us to use it.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You can use the same bank as long as it's a bank account you want to use. The main thing is that it must be a bank account in the name of the service, and you must use it for your CSD registration, which you've done. So now you can take that same supplier number, and now you can go to your GovChat application.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us, Mapula.
Okay, all right.
Yes. Next question.
Okay, we're just gonna go to Charlene. Kindly unmute yourself, please.
Hi, sorry, I have two questions. The first one is under commodities. Do we put down when it asks for nationwide or province-wide? Do we, if we're just operating KZN, do we indicate just province-wide?
Province-wide, yes.
Okay, thanks. And then the other question I do have is that going back to the CIPC documentation, on my CIPC, the address that was registered.
Charlene? Hello, Charlene?
Hello, Charlene.
Hello. Hi.
We lost you there, but we couldn't get the second
sorry.
question.
Oh, sorry about that. I just want to re-explain. According to my CIPC, I do have an address that I was operating from, but due to COVID, I had to move premises. So I have moved premises to a new address. So when I'm capturing the details, do I use the address that I have on my CIPC, or do I now use the new address, which I don't have proof of residence for?
The new address.
Okay, so will they not check my CIPC records to say that I'm operating from two different premises?
So what will happen in an instance wherein they want to do a site visit, maybe? So the address on CSD, we do not audit that address. So you can have even about 2 addresses or 3 addresses, but it's always important to have an address that is your physical address that you'll be easily accessible on.
And then Charlene,
okay, sure.
sorry, if I can just say, so then on your GovChat application, make sure you put the address where you currently operate. Like if DSD want to just come and do a check, make sure you on that GovChat application, you put the address where you currently operate. Yeah.
Okay, so irrespective of what address is on the CIPC.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that.
Unless they communicate otherwise, but now the safest would be for you to put an address that you are accessible on.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, great. We're going to go to Bridget now. Bridget, kindly unmute yourself, please.
Hi, Bridget.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay, and yourself?
We are well, thanks. Yes, we are ready for your question.
Yes, we were just wondering how do we access the page? But it's fine. We were able to find it. We're just now busy with the registration.
Okay, awesome. Awesome, great.
Okay. Thank you. For any help, is it possible that we send our emails to the, what is our email address? To the CSD Treasury?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
what is the turnaround of their responses normally?
The turnaround time is about 48 hours.
48 hours. So if I have any complications, maybe can I still send an email? Maybe
you can send an
in the
email.
course
Just make sure that just make sure that your email is detailed enough, because you can't say, I can't log in. Why can't you log in? Are you
yeah.
Does it give you an error message? So for you to get at least joy in responses, be as detailed enough. What error message does it give you, so that if they give you a call, they at least know what they're dealing with, or if they respond to you via email, they at least addressing the correct issue.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm gonna now go to the next three. So I'm gonna call on Emmanuel, Gertrude again, and Gegana. Emmanuel, kindly unmute yourself, please. Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Greetings, ma'am. How are you?
We well, thanks, Emmanuel. How are you?
We're fine. Ma'am, you know, I had so many questions, but I think some of them they are answered. So our ECD is currently at the informal settlement. So the address of registration that we have used, it's of my residential area, which is in a formal settlement area. So on the NPO is different, on the registration of the NPO and on the center, there are two different addresses. That's one. And then again, due to the center is on the informal settlement, we are using a post bank, not like not the banking like FNB or Standard Bank. So I wanted to get clarities on those part to say in terms of address and the names, because again, on the NPO certificate, there's this contact like the founder and so and so. And then now for this application, I'm the one who's doing it because now I'm in charge. So I wanted also to say whose details should I put? The founder of the ECD, or should I put my details since I'm like currently in charge of the ECD?
Okay. So when you are saying the founder, what role does the founder play at the current moment? Is the founder still active? Emmanuel? Emmanuel?
Yes, it keeps on, muting me. Yes, the founder is there, it's still active, but he's no longer like in charge. So he's just, there as a founder, but I'm in charge of the ECD, the running of the ECD.
Okay, so unfortunately, my mandate does not go beyond telling you guys who should be captured where. So I know under directors and members, there need to be an individual there. So I don't know the structure of your NPO. If you are saying currently you are the one that's nominated to be in charge, are you foreseeing everything? Is that what was resolved in the meetings? Then you can put yourself under directors. However, if we are saying the founder is still there, they're just not technologically advanced, they're just not doing certain things, then they can still be there as a director or a member. Under addresses, under contacts, definitely we expect to have your information on there, because you'll be the one person that they will need to communicate with from time to time. Should there be any changes they need made on the CSD, should they need to communicate or meet up, they need to talk to somebody that understands what's going on. But in terms of who should be where, I'm not able to advise to that level.
Can I make a suggestion? Sorry, I know she can't say it from Treasury, but just from the application side, I would suggest Teboho, sorry, if you don't mind me just adding this, I would say best if you are the person in charge at the ECD center, that you do put you can put your details, because remember when you are putting your information here, you can say what type of position you are playing. The one thing is though,
Okay, yes.
yeah, the one thing I do want to say is that you must, whoever and everyone on this call, you must make sure that you are the authorized person to be making your application on GovChat. So it mustn't be that, oh, you think, oh, let me go help them, and you do it without them knowing. The principal and the person or the person owning it, if it's a company, they must know what is happening. Because remember, DSD is going to hold the service accountable, because they're going to make sure that when the money goes into an account, that the money does in fact go to the employees. So I just want to add
Yes,
that.
yes, ma'am. Thank you. So, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Emmanuel, are you all
Yes.
good?
Yes, about the addresses, ma'am. So, like the center address and the address of the registration, it's two different addresses. Will that have a problem with this current registration that we're doing here?
Sumaya?
Oh yeah, sorry, I think Teboho also did answer that. But so for your CSD, what Teboho was saying is that you use the address where you operate, and for your GovChat application, you also use the address where you operate. Remember what Teboho was saying, and she can correct me, is that the bank validation won't fail if the address on your that you now operate at is different from when you did your NPO registration. So just put for both applications the address. If people want to find you, where do they find you? So for address, and you go add address, you'll put physical, and then make sure to tick all of these, and then you can press save.
All right.
Okay.
Just for a bit of clarity there, Sumaya, not to say the bank won't fail. So there is no relationship between the address tab and the bank tab. So the bank will not affect, the address will not affect your bank.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool. Thank you for that.
Okay. It's a pleasure, ma'am.
Awesome. So Samantha, do we still have any more questions?
Yes, we do. I'll go to Gagana. Gagana, may you kindly unmute yourself, please?
Hello.
Hi, Gagana. How are you? Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I've got two questions. The first, my first question is on the confirmation, registration confirmation through the email address of the ECD centers. The NPOs will be assisting over 100 ECD centers. So after registration, if you have to get all the confirmation from all these 100 ECD centers, it's going to take time and it's going to be cumbersome. Is it possible that we can register your account on CSD without sending without getting the confirmation from your email address? That's the first question. Number two, my second question is, I want to find out if the actual transfers from the transfer of the grant, is it going to come from the National Treasury or from the provincial from provincial DSD? Because my question is, when on the application for the grant, if you are receiving a grant from DSD, you don't have to register for CSD. The assumption is that everyone who is receiving a grant from DSD is already registered on CSD. But I am in Polokwane. There are a lot of ECD centers that are receiving grants but are not registered with CSD. So please, I'd like clarities on those.
Teboho, I don't know if you understood the first. Okay, actually, Teboho, you can maybe just help us here. So my understanding of the first question, I know there's going to be NPO partners that are going to be assisting ECD services. What Treasury has said is that they want each ECD service, their preference is for each ECD service to have their own account. So you should be in the, when you're setting up the accounts, be setting up it with their email address. So I don't know if that clarifies it. And then with the second, yes, that you're right. That is the assumption that if you are in Limpopo, if you are getting currently funded, that you are in the CSD system. This is the thing, this is why, maybe I can just maybe explain around the CSD. So, the Department of Social Development, normally they have funding, and each province has whoever is receiving funding from them loaded onto their payment system. Now, because the Department of Social Development now needs to load people who they don't have on their payment system, they need to first do the bank verification in order to have you loaded onto your system. So if you're on the payment system of government already, that is I'm not, as I said, I'm not from DSD. I'm just telling you what DSD has communicated. If you're not currently on the funding, on the payment system of any provincial department, so you're not currently receiving funding, then only will you need CSD. So basically what's going to happen if you click, on your GovChat application, yes, I normally receive funding, the province at the end of the day is going to be given a list, and they're going to say, here are the 100 people who said that they currently receive funding from you. So they don't have CSD. That means they must be on your payment system. And here's the other 100 people who are not on your payment system. They all have CSD. We've done the bank verification, and so they can be loaded. So I don't know if that's answering your question, but I'm just telling you what DSD has said. If you do have any other questions, I'll put my email address. If you have questions like that for DSD, I can try to direct it to them directly.
Okay, I think please let's just confirm if DSD is the one who's going to do the payment or Treasury will do the payment.
No. So the money, I can tell you this for sure. The money has already left Treasury, and it's already in the bank accounts of provincial DSD. So they already have the money for authorizing payments.
No, okay, then that is clear. Then they won't need any CSD compliances. Okay, it's fine. Thank you. I think you answered me.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sorry. Hello.
Yes.
Teboho, is there a way that we can actually register the ECD centers without them confirming their bank? We're going to use their email addresses, but now if they have to confirm the email address and come back to us and say we've confirmed, the back and forth, that's where with a limited time that we've got of 1 week from Monday to Friday. That's my only worry.
I'm not certain about the back and forth being referred to. Can you just highlight a bit? Okay.
Remember, if you get onto CSD, your first things first is to register an account.
Yes.
When you register the account, then a notification will go through to the bank, to the email address, and then where you have to agree before you start inputting all your identification, industry, and all of those. So if I'm assisting 100 ECD centers, all of them will not sit with me in the same room, which means they're going to send me the information, and I'm going to load their accounts for them. So I'm going to say, okay, confirm through your email address, confirm, and then you send me the confirmation. Then before I can continue with the process. So I'm saying that if there was a way that I could register them without them confirming with their email address, the whole process, it will save time.
Unfortunately, each and every user needs to be, I don't know, they need to administer their own CSD. There's no way of overriding the email confirmation process. For them to have a CSD profile, there needs to be an active cell phone number and active email address. That's the part of the system that we can't override, or else we will be sitting with dormant CSD profile.
Okay.
So for us to see that there is a user behind this profile or this registration, there unfortunately needs to be an email address and a working cell phone number.
Boho, can I ask you something on this question?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you go to supplier details and you add supplier, and you were saying that you can add up to 5.
Yes.
So just say there's an NPO wanting to help 5 people. Could they add the 5 people under 5 different suppliers, and then in contacts add the contact details of the person?
That's possible. So under one profile, you can add about 5. However, the challenge is what happens when Kekana decides, no, I no longer want to do this. I'm no longer administering the CSD profiles. Then what? Because now that means, remember, he has the access to all of them. Then he can either log in and delete, depending on how he's feeling on that particular day. Meanwhile, if they are registered under their own information, each and every one of them, should he decide to leave the center, it still doesn't have any impact on any one of those ECD centers that they've registered on the CSD.
Oh, I see.
Problem
Okay,
is
cool.
the
Thank you for
administrator themselves tomorrow say, maybe I'm Tebogo, now I'm helping, I want to add all 5 under one profile. Yes, it's 5 under one profile, different NPOs, right? Tomorrow I decide, I don't want to be doing this. In fact, I want my own company. For me to add my company on the CSD, I'm going to have to firstly remove this 5 that I've added on here, which is now more administrative work for the people that thought they are registered on the database. Now, because we're looking into the matter of time, maybe the time frame that they've been given, they can try and work on that, but it's not advisable. That's not what we normally advise.
Teboho, I get you. I get you right. We're going to use the email address of the ECD centers to register them, not using our email address. But my only fear is that, the area of concern is that we're gonna use their email address. Remember, the NPO that is assisting these ECD centers is not in the same location as the ECD centers, which means after you use their email address, you have to call them to confirm, log on and confirm. After they confirm, then before you can continue with the registration process. You get my point? So my point is, if there is a way that we can bypass the confirmation, then sending the confirmation email to the ECD address, then we can go through the whole process without waiting for them to confirm and come back to us that we've confirmed before you continue with the process. Hello?
Here, or to, I don't know, to understand the last part. Again, I don't know if Sumaya or Samantha do get it and will be able to relate it to me. I'm struggling to.
Yeah, so I think maybe this is a good way to just answer this question is that, are you one of the commissioned NPOs from DGMT?
Yes.
Are you one of the NPO partners? Okay. So I did talk to Senzo about us just having a session and brainstorming, you know, what are some of the ways we can try to, you know, figure this out for a lot of people. So maybe you can, if I can just ask you to hang on, to hold your question, and then later, you know, I'm going to have a discussion with him and then just figure out how we can help people over the phone.
Okay, no, it's fine then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
if you can mute.
I'm gonna go to the next person, Gertrude. Kindly unmute yourself, please. Gertrude. Okay, I think Gertrude might have a problem with unmuting. The next 3 people will be Madineo, Lorraine, and Busisiwe. Madineo, kindly unmute yourself, please. Oh, Gertrude has now unmuted themselves. Gertrude, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. We are an NPO, actually registered as an NPO. It's an organization with different projects. One of the projects is the ECD, and we are trying to apply for this stimulus for this ECD. And we have to open the bank account separate from the NPO's account for especially for this application, and we got that bank account. Now we are I'm now confused whether we can go on apply as an NPO, which is in charge of this ECD, or must we take another route and apply as an ECD? But this ECD project is not yet registered. We are the NPO holding the status of public benefit organization with different projects under us. So that's where the problem is. I think maybe I need that clarity.
Okay, what I suggest is I'm going to just study it. I have an ECD email address that you can email. So if you do have questions like this that is for DSD, then I can then raise it with DSD. So at the moment, what DSD is saying is that, exactly what you're saying now is that the name of the service must be the applicant. The reason being is that they don't want any fraudulent situation. I imagine a situation, there'll be, organizations are saying, no, we run this NPO, but meanwhile they don't. So for them, what they're holding on to is the fact that the bank, the name of the bank account will be in the name of the ECD service. But drop me an email. Samantha, if you can, okay, I'll look for sorry, I have a particular ECD email address you can email. I'm just going to look for it. If you can just, I'll let Teboho take more questions and then I'll type it in the chat.
Okay, thank you so much, Sumaya. Madinao, kindly unmute yourself, please. Madinao.
Hi, thank you. I've been having just a thing that, can I double check that with my CSD number, if it does still exist? Can I quickly give it to you? Hello? Hello?
Teboho, are you there?
Can you hear me, Teboho?
Hold on, let me see. Oh, have we lost Teboho?
Oh,
Sam?
It appears we've lost Deborah.
Okay, so maybe if I can just, for that question, can I suggest that you call the helpline, the helpline that you gave at the beginning? Mom, did you, let me just, if you have a pen with you, it's 012.
Oh, okay, I've got it.
406.
Okay.
5999.
5999.
Yeah. So if you can what I'll do is so I suggest calling the helpline and asking them whether to check whether your profile does in fact exist.
Thank you, my love.
Okay, so I can, I'm gonna try to see as many questions I can take. Hold on, Teboho is just giving me a call. Samantha, you can line up the questions in.
Okay, thank you, Madineo. We'll just go to the next person was Busisiwe. Busisiwe, kindly unmute yourself, please.
Okay, she's coming back on. But in the meantime, if anyone has questions, okay, let's just take these first 3 questions. I'm gonna see if I can answer them.
Okay, Busisiwe, kindly unmute yourself, please.
Okay, I see Kathy saying that this 012 number is saying it doesn't exist. Let's check with Teboho now when she joins back, because that's the number she gave us from that's the number she gave us from Treasury. So Kathy, I'll check with Teboho now when she comes back. Busisiwe is on mute next time.
Let's go to Lorraine. Lorraine, kindly unmute yourself, please. Lorraine,
Yes, afternoon, everybody. I'm one of the.
Hi, Lorraine.
How are you guys? Excuse my voice, it's
Good, thank
hoarse. Yes, I'm one of the NPOs that were elected to assist the ECDs. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Now, one of the ECDs that I was trying to assist, they have already started the process of the CSD. Okay, but now the problem is the person that did the application, the owner, her ID does not show up at the bank. She was not part of the people that opened the bank account.
I see. I see. So she's not
Yes,
linked.
she's not linked to the bank. Now, she never told me this until when it came back today saying bank cannot verify. Verification failed.
Okay, I see Tebogo has rejoined us. Tebogo, I'm not sure if you managed to hear that question.
I only managed to hear the last part of the question wherein she mentioned they received a message saying the bank did not verify, the bank failed.
Yes.
However, she didn't give much of a reason because usually.
Okay, the reason that it failed, it says the name, the ID was not linked to the bank because they put on their ID numbers instead of putting the people that opened the bank account's ID number.
Okay, I beg to differ a bit. That shouldn't be the reason. Do you have the M number? Maybe I can just quickly check for you what the reason might be.
Yes, I have. Kindly hold for me while I get it for you.
We can just one bit. Sorry, I had internet issues there. I'm back on. Just one moment. I should be on the system just to check.
I know there was someone else who also had an M number. I can't remember who it was, Samantha. Maybe they can just write in the chat. I think that's when we lost Tebogo, so they can just write to Sam in the chat as well.
You mean Mapula?
Hello?
Yes. What's that M number that we discussing just now?
Okay, it's triple A.
Yes.
102. 8666.
Okay, thank you. Is it Funda Mtwana?
Yeah, Funda Mtwana taken.
Okay. So with this one, remember when we started with the training session, I've mentioned this on the identification tab. Make sure that the NPO registration number is written exactly as it appears at the bank. However, for this one, you've only written the first 3 digits with just 1 dash. There's no NPO on there. I don't think this is how it's captured at social development.
But on my system right now, it shows that it is 220-573.
So there's no NPO at the end?
No, there's no NPO at the end. It's just 220-573.
Are you now looking at the social developments thingy, registration, or are you looking at the bank confirmation letter?
Right now, I was looking at the social development.
Okay. So what do you have?
Certification.
Do you have the bank confirmation letter from FNB?
No, I don't have. They didn't give me because the person that has the documents is not. I think they're having a problem connecting with her.
Because the only way we'll be able to, the only way I'll be able to diagnose.
Sorry, Tebogo. I think the first part of her question, sorry, I think it was after you logged in. She was talking about the ID numbers. Lorraine, do you want to just tell Tebogo about you were saying the different ID numbers?
Okay, Tebogo, this is what's happening. The person that logged in because they started the registration themselves, the ECD. However, they had a problem because the person that put on her ID is not linked to the bank account. She was not part of the people that opened the bank account. Now, when it came back failing, it says the verification, ID verification fails. The bank verification failed because of I said wrong ID. So I assumed because this person was not on the list of people that went on to open the bank account.
Okay, so I'm going to try and explain how bank verification for NPOs would work. Yes, usually you just go maybe as group of founders, or group of people to the bank and open an account. They're going to need your ID numbers and all that. However, that account, how it will be set up, it will be set up as an NPO. The registration number that they will link on that account is the one that belongs to the NPO. Right.
Okay.
So that means as CSD, when we try to validate information, we are not looking for individuals' ID numbers, because now we are told the person that we are registering here is Funda Mtwana. We'll only look for the organization's ID number. So that's why now I was trying to find out if you are having with you maybe a bank confirmation letter, because that bank confirmation letter is the one that will actually guide us. This is not only failing with the ID, it's only also failing with the name. So a lot could have happened here. Maybe the account does not even belong to the NPO. It belongs to an individual. So hence I'm saying, if you have a bank confirmation letter that can guide us as to what went wrong, then we'll be able to look into it. It failed with an incorrect name, incorrect ID number, incorrect surname. So there's clearly a lot going on here, but only a bank confirmation letter can tell us what is happening.
What is happening? Sorry about that. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So what needs to be done now is for me to request them to give me the bank
request the bank confirmation letter.
Confirmation letter. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Another thing, if this person that started the process in CSD is not part of the people that founded the organization, as the organization, the ECD is running from her premises.
Okay, so on the CSD, we really do not, we're not strict about who registers the organization on the database.
Okay.
Yeah, so any person can be able, we do understand that we live in a country that's almost imbalanced. There's some people that are not able, maybe the founder is not able to use computers. Then maybe they'll request their child to register on the CSD. Maybe they'll request somebody from the internet to register them on the CSD. So we're not really strict about who should register. However, the contents, the information within the profile needs to be accurate.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Lorraine. I just want to call up Madineo's number as well. So it's written in the chat. It's MAAA.
Okay.
073. 5359.
All right. Let me see. I think this is Madineo Youth and Skills Development.
Madineo, kindly unmute yourself, please.
Yes, my dear, it is that one.
Awesome.
So
what's your question, Madineo?
Now, I wanted to double check because I didn't use it. I wanted to check if it's still in a good status so I can apply with it.
Yes,
like,
you are
I don't need
very
to,
much.
I
You
don't
are
need
very
to-
much. Yeah. Sorry,
So
you
I
can
don't
go
need to
on.
register. Okay.
You don't need to re-register. However, you need to look into, I see you have 2 bank accounts here. The other one has successfully verified. However, the one that ends with 681 has failed. You need to look into that so long. And then also your text number is not aligning. There's something not right. I think it's maybe how you may have captured the NPO as compared to how SARS has captured your NPO number. But with the text number that you've provided to us, we're not able to check whether you comply or not. But for the purposes of this training, for the purposes of the ECD thingy, you should be able to proceed with your application. You're sorted.
Thank you so much, my dear.
You're welcome.
Sam, can I just say, sorry, I know we're eating into Tebogo's time. Tebogo, is it okay if we go till 5 o'clock? Sorry, I know we had you till 4:30.
Okay, it's okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Sam?
Okay, the next names will be Maria, Octavian, and Eddie again. Maria, kindly unmute yourself, please.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. And how are you?
I'm all right. I'm just busy with the filing, and then there is a thing of identification type. What should I enter there?
Okay, what options do you have on there?
Come again?
What options do you have on there?
Okay, let's check the options. Yeah. South African identification number.
Yes. So are you a South African or are you a foreign supplier?
I'm a South African.
So you need to select South African with a South African ID.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And the
Then
password.
The
When
password you'll need to
when-
create the password because now it's your first time going onto our website. Make sure that your password has capital letters, combination of small letters, special character, and numbers.
And numbers.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So for example, maybe your name at a particular year or your surname at a particular year or hashtag or full stop. So that's the criteria that we'd use for creating passwords.
Okay. Thanks, Deborah.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right.
Okay, sorry, I just want to quickly go to someone in the chat because you've already given Eddie and Octavian a chance. Mataba, may you kindly unmute yourself?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Okay, hi. I have registered a while ago, but all the time the bank, it says not verified, but at the overview at the end there, I get a blue tick in all the areas. So I'm not sure how to go through, how to go about in getting the bank verified. I've done it several times. We only have one bank account, and the correct one is linked to the school. So everything is fine except that it says not verified.
Do you have an M number for me?
No. I'll type it down. You can continue with other people. Can I please type it down so I don't take up much time?
Okay, awesome, not a problem.
Okay, we'll go ahead to Eddie again. Eddie, kindly unmute yourself, please.
Madam, lastly, madam, would you mind to help me, madam, on address 1 and address 2? When I go to district, it does not enable me to continue.
What's the issue there?
When I go to district, I can type on address 1 and address 2, and a country, a province, but when I try to go to district, it does not allow me to go any further.
So remember, after you've typed in address line 1 and address line 2, everything else, you should be able to select the options from the already auto-populated options that we have there for you. Does it allow you to select the auto-populated options?
Only on province only. It does not allow me to go to district.
Okay, so have you selected the province? Which province have you selected?
Madam, it's Limpopo.
So when you've selected Limpopo, it should now allow you now to click on the drop down on district. So you can't jump. You can't jump the province and want to click the district.
All right, madam. Say for instance, in line 1, which address must we write it there?
In line 1.
Yes.
So it's the first. Okay. So I don't know how. Maybe Sam, do you want to? I don't know how to explain it.
Yes.
Samantha, would you want to help me maybe with the first line of the address and the second line?
Yeah.
Okay, so for example, I put, okay, this is the address of the Nelson Mandela Foundation, right? So this is the street name, 107 Central Street, and this is the area, Houghton Estate. So you could put, just say, you know, plot, whatever, and
Yes,
then you
madam.
want to put the town. So did you
Yes,
put
address 1 will be the street name.
Yes, yeah, put that.
Yeah, the second one.
Put the area. What area are you in?
Okay, Guyana.
Okay, put Guyana.
Okay.
Then country, does it say South Africa?
Yes, it's South Africa.
Did you type physical over here? This address type, sorry. Up here, you put physical. Look at my screen here. You put physical.
Yes. Oh, physical.
Yes, you must select physical.
Madam, just okay. Yes, madam. It's
Okay, now if you go to district, it should give you some options. Do you see something?
Yes, madam.
Yes, now select the right district. Now then go to municipality and select the right municipality.
Okay.
Then go to city. Okay. Then go to city.
Okay, just
Okay, so
South
I'm going to say
Africa is there.
Johannesburg.
Province, yes, madam, I'm there. A certain thing comes in my laptop and is making a round there.
Okay, that means it's just processing. That means it's just loading the information still for your district. So maybe what I can do is I can just show you. So you have to do it like as Tebogo said, you have to do it in order. You first do physical, then you put the line 1, line 2, then the country, then the province, the district, municipality, the city, because it needs time to just load the options. And then if you go to suburb, you'll choose your suburb. So I'm going to say city of Johannesburg for me. Then the ward will load. Then I need to choose whatever ward I'm in. Then make sure these are ticked. All of these are ticked. If they're not ticked, then you're going to have a problem when you're doing your initial submission, your last submission.
Okay, madam.
Okay. Back to you, Tebogo, for other questions. Sorry, guys. Sam, did you have any other hands up? Because I see we are at 5.
We did have other hands up. I guess it will just depend on Deborah.
Okay, so I think let's do this, Tebogo. I think these hands we have taken. I think let's say, I don't know who's on, if we can just mute. Okay, Tebogo, thank you so much. You have helped so many people and this video is gonna go on YouTube. I'll wait to hear from people if they think that they need to have another session. But sorry, before we close, sorry, we promised to come back to Mpata. Sorry, I'm so sorry, Tebogo. If we can just maybe go back to her quickly. Sorry, she has her M number now, if that's okay. Last question and then we'll close.
Okay, thank you. My M number is MAAA 0799876.
Oh, that's very quick. Tebogo, did you manage to get it? So what I'll do is let Tebogo take this one more question and then I'll release her. And then if people have other questions related to the application or want me to go through the application from start to end, I'm happy to stay and just help people. But Tebogo, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Sumaya. All right, I think if I got it correctly, it's 079 987. Okay, I missed something there.
It's 079 98
yes
76.
Okay, I think what we can do before I go, Sumaya or Samantha, on the chats, I saw people posting a few of their M numbers. Maybe we can check 3 of those before I go. Then that'll be it from me.
Oh, thank you so much, Tebogo. So if anyone wants, I see Mpata put your M number, but we just checked it now. If anyone wants Tebogo to check the M number, please type in the chat. Or Sam, do you see anyone else's M number that I missed?
Yes. Octavian has put in her M number. It's in the chat. I'll just say it out loud for you, Deborah.
Yes, I think I saw about 2 or 3.
Okay. Can I read it out loud for you?
Just a minute. Just a minute. Let me.
No
I'm still checking your entry.
No problem.
All right. All right. So for this one, the bank has failed, and it's also failing. I think it's a similar issue with the previous one that we've had, wherein we need a bank confirmation letter for us to be able to diagnose where the issue is, because this one fails with the name. It also fails with an incorrect ID and the registration number. So like I've mentioned previously, firstly, on this one, I can tell the registration number doesn't look correct. You're saying you're registered with social development. However, how you have captured this registration number is not correct, because you've captured it as 05-7448. I don't think, it doesn't look like it's their style of capturing. Something didn't go right there. So with this one, we need to start fixing it on the identification tab. You need to capture the registration number correctly from the identification tab so that we can send correct identification number to your bank. I don't know if you understand me. I forgot who I'm talking to, sorry.
Matapa, you can unmute yourself, please.
Yes, yeah, I see that. I'm on the screen, yeah. Yes, I see that the identification number is wrongly captured. I'll correct that, and maybe that will give me a positive response from the bank.
Yes, so firstly there, on the identification screen, Matapa, make sure that the registration number is captured as per the social development document or the registration document, right? And then under the bank, that's what we're also going to send to your bank to verify. Just make sure, check the bank confirmation letter if how this name is captured is exactly what appears on the bank letter, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And also the identification number there on this bank tab, please check on the bank letter if this is how the bank has also captured it. Then you align everything to what your bank has made. Or if they both have the same thing, make sure that everything matches up.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it helps. I was not even aware that the identification is wrongly captured. Thank you.
You're welcome. Samantha?
So the next number is from Octavian, 087 5348.
What are we checking here? Did she mention what we need to check?
M number.
Just the registration if they're successfully registered?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I can't pronounce it. Yeah, I think it's written in Afrikaans, guys. I'm not good, but I see it's the registration number starts with 069-671. So this is definitely registered, and their bank account has successfully verified. I can see they're not registered with SARS, but this means that they're ready to go. They're ready to actually apply for the funding.
Okay, good.
Is there anything else that they would like to find out, or that's just it? They just want confirmation that they are registered and they are on the CSD?
Octavian, is that okay for you?
I would like to find out if. Can you hear me?
Yes, Octavian.
Yes.
I would like to find out if I'm on the CSD.
Yes, definitely you are on the CSD. Everything is in order here.
Okay, when I go, on my phone, when I go to overview, right? It gives me like, I can't submit.
Are you trying to register the same one that you've given us an M number for?
Yes, it's the same MAAA number.
No, you can't re-register it. Okay, so what I'm trying to find out is you have logged in. So when you've logged in and you clicked on supply details, the MAAA number that you have access to is the one that you've just given to us, the one that starts with 087, that one. So here, you'll not be able to submit because you haven't made any changes. There are no changes that were made. The only time you'll be able to click on overview and submit is if your registration is still new, and it's if you are trying to make changes on your CSD. You are not trying to make any changes currently from what I'm seeing. So you won't be able to submit.
So how do I go on like now? What do I do?
So Octavian, sorry, I don't know if this answers your question. You have your Tebogo, so you've confirmed that the M number all is good, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Octavian, now you are ready to go to apply for GovChat. That is a separate link. In the chat, I'll post the link to GovChat. So you don't need to do anything else now on the CSD website. You're now going to go to your GovChat application to go and make an application now for the grant. Does that clarify it?
Yes, and check your address. There's like a red circle.
No, but what I'm saying is you can leave that now. You don't have to worry about your CSD. You have your M number. Leave, like you can log off the website.
Sumaya?
Yeah.
Just a minute. Let me just try and find out from Octavian, which email address did you use to logging in for logging onto that profile?
I think it's Edmund Yon.
No. So this M number that you've given to us sits under the administration of Monica May. So Monica needs to log you in and grant you access to this one.
My mistake.
It's okay.
It is Monica. Sorry.
It's okay. All right, so you don't have to complete that registration. There's already a CSD registration for this NPO, and then Monica is the person that should be able to grant you access to this M number. So you don't have to edit or make any changes on this one.
Okay, thank you. So you said I should go to GovChat.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Samantha, are we able to move on to the last M number?
Okay. I don't see another M number in the chat. I don't know if there's any. We can call upon someone for a question.
Okay.
No. Kindly unmute yourself, please. No. Okay, it seems that Noel's having trouble unmuting. We'll go to Gertrude. Gertrude, kindly unmute yourself, please.
I think it might be an old hand, Samantha. I think they asked a question earlier.
Okay, so there aren't any other questions. There are only 3 hands. Maria? Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I've just registered now, ne?
Is it Maria?
Yes, Maria.
Okay.
Our email is got a 2 for the LCD. And then the other thing, when we check the application from our side, is not active yet. So I don't know what is wrong with the registration. I think something went wrong when coming to Little Stars email, because we should supposed to have the verification on our email, but it is not yet there. So when you check here, when we started to log in, we see that and encounter a problem that our email is not the same, because our email is just littleStarsLCD@gmail.com.
And you have given us the one with the 2.
So the one that is coming out here now,
yeah,
to lcd@gmail.com.
Okay, so the
So I
email
don't
address
know
that's
if
coming up there, what is it?
LittleStars2LCD@gmail.com. LCDC, sorry.
Did you say LCDC?
Yes, it is LittleStars2LCDC@gmail.com. Yes.
So you're saying that's
And
the one
that's
that's
not
coming
our
up?
email address. Yeah, that's the one that's coming up now.
Ours doesn't have it.
And ours doesn't have it. LCDC@gmail.com.
Can you just confirm the last four numbers of the cell phone number that's appearing on here?
The last four numbers is 1222.
Okay. Just give me one second.
Okay.
Can you give me the OTP, please?
OTPC, the OTPC, what is the OTPC? That the code, the last code down below.
Yes, I've just sent a code via SMS to the number that you've given me. Are you able to give me that code?
Okay, let me check the SMS. Is 684 65.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so that means that when you started the first process of registering, this email address was written incorrectly from your end. So what I've done I have activated this profile. So that means you can click on login and use the password that you've created, right? Once you have logged in and you have accepted the terms and conditions and you have acknowledged fraud alert, please make it a point that you click on account at the top right corner and correct the email address.
Okay.
So you log in before you forget the password that you have created. Once you have logged in, you have accepted the terms and conditions, click on account at the top right corner, change the email address to the correct one, because yeah, it's going to be a challenge for you to do this process without support.
With the password.
Yes. So you use the incorrect email address that you've given to me, and you use the password that you have created to log in.
Yes, okay.
All right.
Then log in. Yeah, we'll log in. Log in.
Maybe whilst they try and log in, Samantha, the very, very last question while they
Thank you so much, Deborah. Okay, these are all still repeat hands, but I'll just try Refilwe. Refilwe, please unmute yourself.
Okay.
Do you have a new question, Refilwe? Kindly unmute yourself, please.
I just wanted to find out if I can send all the list of ECD that I have registered in the previous years, their status. Where can I send them?
Okay, you can send them to csd@treasury.gov.za. But make sure that you are as detailed enough, like you give us the registration number, you give us the actual name. You need to be as detailed as possible.
Will you kindly repeat that email address so I can put it in the chat for everyone?
Okay, it's csd@treasury.gov.za.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lee.
You're welcome.
So you're saying I should send their AAA numbers as well as their ECD names?
So if you have the MAAA numbers, it will, please send them, send us the MAAA numbers and send us the names that they go by, so that we make sure that we are checking the correct ECDs.
Okay, for clarity to others, can I just, not clarity, just to correct. There was a time I was registering one organization, and if on the NPO certificate, if it says Refilwe, ECD and daycare center, people must not write, if it says abbreviated with "and", not with words, they mustn't write with words. They must make sure that the bank write it as it is from the NPO certificate. If they write in words and it's not written in words in the NPO certificate, it's going to be rejected.
That's a very important point you are raising, Refilwe. I actually skipped that point. Thank you very much. So
Yes,
just to reiterate from what Refilwe is saying, say maybe on your NPO name, there is a special character "and", right? That special sign "and". And when you're capturing under the bank information and you're capturing it as A and D, it's going to reject, because when we go to your bank would have captured it as special character "and". So it's very important that you have exactly what your bank has on the CSD, because we match this information against each other. Thank you very much for bringing that up, Refilwe.
And then Tebogo, can I ask you one question, please? It was just one question that was sent to me. I'm so sorry. Absolute last one. I promise you can go. Sorry, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Someone is saying that when they go to CSD under the bank, it says bank already exists on different supplier. So what does that mean?
For that one, I'm going to need at least the last 4 digits of the bank account. What else?
Sorry.
Yeah, because I need to check what we're talking about. Does it already exist on a different account, or did they try to add the same bank account multiple times? So just try and gather for me the last 4 digits of that bank account for security reasons. Like you've mentioned, this will be,
Maria, I'll unmute you. And then, sorry, we have to let Tebogo go and we have to close. Maria?
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Here we are having a problem, ma'am. When we are trying to enter our bank details, it says the bank details already exist on different suppliers.
Which email address are you trying to edit under? And then also, while you're giving me the email address, please try and gather for me the actual account number that you're trying to add on there. Can you just give me the email address that you are logged in under?
It's SY. LV. IA.
Yes.
LI. CIOU.
Yes.
S3.
All right.
It's gmail.com.
Not sure if I have it correctly. You said it's SY.
Yes.
LVAA. LIA.
Yes.
Okay.
It's Sylvia Licious.
Licious. Okay.
Yes.
Licious.
3.
Okay. All right. Just confirm the last 3 digits of the cell phone number that's appearing on here.
Cell phone number.
It's 07954.
Thank you.
07954.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay, Maria. All right. I see here you have Sikumukile. Is that it?
Sikumile, yes.
Sugumile. Okay. Sugumile. Awesome. All right. And then bank, I'm not able to see the account in question.
The account number. Should I name it all?
Are you able to? I don't know how, but I'm worried because you're going to have to give me the whole account number, and for security purposes, unfortunately, I can't guarantee the safety of your information there.
And this is live on YouTube.
Ouch.
Yeah. So now, yeah, you're going to, unfortunately, my darling, have to send through an email to the CSD and they'll be able to troubleshoot further. I'd really like to help, but also for your safety, yeah.
Or should I send it to CSD?
At Treasury.
At
treasury.gov.za.
Okay, .gov.za.
All right, just make sure that you include that bank confirmation letter, and you do mention that when you try to add it, it actually it already exists. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay,
Sumaya?
Yes, so we are going to bring this to the close. Tebogo, you have gone above and beyond. Thank you so much. You've helped so many people today. We are really grateful. On behalf of Nelson Mandela Foundation and all the participants here, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I see there's still a lot of people on the call. If next week, if people do want another walkthrough on the application, like how we did yesterday, we're happy to help. You can just drop an email to that ECD at Nelson Mandela Foundation address. But Tebogo, thank you so much. I don't know if you want to say anything in conclusion.
Nothing much in conclusion, Sumaya. Thank you for having me. And yeah, all the best to all your applicants. They must also feel free to just send through queries to our office. We are well equipped. We are ready for their queries. Yeah, we are actually earmarked that we might need to actually give more support to you guys. So we are ready for you to come through. Feel free to either come through to our office at the National Treasury or send us an email or give us a call. Right. All the best to everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy your weekend.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Bye.